and saves drinking water for drinking. Rain barrels, cisterns, and curb cuts are just a few ways to save water and energy. For more, visit LADWP and the Bay Foundation online.
Hi, I'm Rasha Goel.
And I'm Gil Reyes. Welcome to Latitude, the latest business and trade news from the Port of Los Angeles.
In this edition, you'll join me as I interview the new executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, Mr. Gene Soroka. Let's get started exploring this edition of Latitude. A new executive director recently took the helm at the Port of Los Angeles. The position requires extensive maritime industry expertise, including a keen understanding of international economies and trade flow trends. To fill those shoes, former shipping line executive Gene Soroka was selected for the job. Gene, you have been executive director for several months now. What are your observations?
Well, I believe the Port of Los Angeles has a strong global brand, and I witnessed that during my time working overseas, but it's great to see in person. In addition, I think our customer base is extremely sophisticated, our marine terminal operators and liner shipping companies. We also offer the best labor in the country to work on our docks. In addition to that, we have more than 40 vessel services calling the port each week. We have unsurpassed intermodal connectivity with an excess of 100 trains moving in and out of the LA Basin every day. We have an infrastructure that's second to none, with 1.8 billion square feet of warehousing and cold storage space, all within close proximity to the docks.
What are your priorities in the coming months?
My initial set of priorities were around getting to understand our organization, our customers, so we can develop world-class customer service entrees, as well as ensuring alignment with our City Hall officials and our Board of Harbor Commissioners. Moving down line to our next stage, we want to help develop the operational efficiencies that are necessary for us to be a global leader in port activities.
The economy seems to be gaining momentum. What does this mean for the Port of Los Angeles?
It's all about growth. We want to maintain and grow our status as the nation's #1 port. And to do that, we have to be better than we were yesterday, raising the bar on efficiencies and ensuring that our customers see the opportunities here in Southern California and points beyond.
It's no small task to run the Port of Los Angeles. With 7,500 acres, 43 miles of waterfront, 27 terminals, 270 berths, and $1 billion of cargo a day, the leader of this port must practice critical strategic planning, as many decisions have a local, national, and international impact.
The balance of our strategic plans includes safety, security, and social responsibility. We want to ensure, first off, that the employees and those who do business here in the port are safe, including cargo as well as the assets that flow through our waterways. Our security strategy to protect and anticipate unforeseen events is exemplified through our Cybersecurity Operations Center, which was implemented in September of this year. And equally as important, our social responsibility. We've continued to up the ante on everything that we do with respect to the environment and how we conduct our business. We'll see more good things to come in this area. The Clean Air Action Plan also dictates that we have to continue to make step-by-step fashion through the year 2023 and beyond, so we've got our sights set very far in the future.
For you, what's one word that describes success?
I would think it's collaboration, making sure we engage stakeholders, do our very best to replicate best practices, take input, and move towards achieving our outlined goals. As you can see, the atmosphere here at the Port of Los Angeles is so energizing. The work we're doing today with our customers, colleagues, and stakeholders is really going to propel this port forward in a great way, and I look forward to the opportunities.
The #1 port in the nation demands nothing less than first-class leadership. With its new executive director, America's Port has definitely found the right person for the job. Gene Soroka, welcome aboard.
Gina Ray, and this is my dog Whippet. We're from Winnetka. Get it, girl. You're watching LA City View, Channel 35. This is our city and our channel.
In LA this week, more than 1,300 formerly incarcerated receiving a path to jobs thanks to a $9 million collaboration between the city and Caltrans. The story next.
The city's innovative computer giveaway program is growing by leaps and bounds, so much that they're reaching out to corporate sponsors to do their good deeds. I'm Gil Reyes with a story next from Pacoima.
I'm Anna Marcos. Find out how Parking Enforcement's new Smart Release boot will help you pay off your parking tickets with just a little elbow grease. That's coming up.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Finding a job after you've been in prison is a challenge for many ex-cons. Many times they fall back into a life of crime and back behind bars because employers won't hire them. But as Gil Reyes reports, the city is doing its part to help provide second chances.
Thanks to the city and Caltrans, these ex-cons are staying productive by sprucing up our streets. Collecting more than 123,000 bags of trash, leaves, and other debris since the program launched last fall. They're also picking up the pieces of their lives. It's really helped you a lot.
It did. It helped me transition back into society, and I was able to end the gap in my work history and able to apply for other jobs.
Cesar Gonzalez is among the 1,300 former felons either helped or will be helped by the new Roads to Second Chances program. This $12 an hour gig is just the start. The next step is job placement to higher paying careers. Helping out are Mayor Eric Garcetti's Office of Reentry and nonprofits like Chrysalis.
When you ask people who have served time what their biggest hurdle is after prison, they're very clear. It's getting a job. And because the recidivism rate in California is 65%. But if you're paired with a job when you get out, that drops to just 3%.
Crime in the city of Los Angeles has increased in recent years, and a lot of people put the blame on recent state laws that released much of the state's prison population to prevent overcrowding behind bars. The problem is many of those inmates were released without adequate jobs or services. This Caltrans program aims to solve that problem.
We have parolees up and down the state, and more programs like this will make California, will make the city of Los Angeles much safer as these men and women come back to our communities. They want to be productive.
And if they can't?
Sometimes your only choice is to do what you know how to do and then commit crimes to get money.
And you've seen it happen with people that you've known.
Yeah, that usually happens a lot, and that's what they say. If I can't get a job, then most likely I'm going to go back to selling drugs or committing crimes.
We're happy to report that Gonzalez, who spent 8 years in prison, has moved on to a full-time construction job since Caltrans, enough to support his family.
People that used to fall through the cracks are now not falling through the cracks. And you all are being able to participate not only as workers for Caltrans, but as citizens and participants in our communities.
A clean slate and clean streets through second chances. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Cost of the program is $9 million. The mayor's office is also making it easier for former felons to attain jobs within the city family to replace a growing number of retirees. Well, Metro officials are working on another work development program. This one takes a panoramic approach to the future. The Win LA program will bring jobs and a whole new socioeconomic outlook to many LA communities. And Marcos has more.
Imagine getting your pick of 778,000 new jobs. That's what awaits Angelenos over the next 40 years as Measure M starts funding transportation projects all over LA County.
And this brings together two of my favorite things, transportation and jobs.
We're going to start with operations, maintenance, which includes bus mechanics, engineering, administrative positions.
City leaders want to make the most of the job bonanza as they sign a pledge to fund a new workforce initiative now. or Win LA program. The ambitious plan will not only provide jobs, recruiting, and training, but some transit-driven education for disadvantaged communities and the younger kids as well.
Part of this vision is to establish a state-of-the-art vocational and college preparation 6 to 12 grade boarding school. The 6 to 12 grade boarding school is really the entry into the industry.
Over the next 3 years, almost 40% of Metro's workforce will be eligible for retirement, with almost 70% of those workers over the age of 40. So this program will ensure a healthy workforce for years to come.
You have heard that our baby boomers are retiring, our need for a workforce to replace them.
Metro and city leaders aren't content just to sign their own pledges. They encouraged their transportation partners, building contractors, design firms, colleges, and more to take the Win LA pledge and help train and hire the future Metro workforce. So brush up on those construction and engineering skills. More than 300 different careers and hundreds of thousands of jobs await. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Voters approved Measure M last year with a half-cent sales tax to fund LA County transportation projects. Well, speaking of transportation projects, can LA Metro go totally gas-free? Well, as Gil Reyes reports, that's the goal in Metro's ambitious plan to cut pollution.
Natural gas is in the past, electric buses here to last.
Southern California's largest transit agency shoots for something unprecedented for a fleet its size: zero gas emissions by the year 2030.
It's really important for us to do this as the federal government is rolling back environmental regulations, as we're backing out of the Paris Accords. California has been leading, Los Angeles has been leading, and LA Metro is going to be leading.
LA City Councilman Mike Bonin and Mayor Eric Garcetti are among the Metro board members unanimously supporting this plan. Yes, agencies like LA City's Dash service have a few electric buses, but no major transit agency in the country has zero emissions for every one of its vehicles, at least not yet.
And another major step towards that goal, Metro officials approving close to $140 million to purchase close to 100 all-electric buses. Now, these buses would serve the Orange Line in the San Fernando Valley and also the Silver Line along the Harbor and San Bernardino freeways.
The eventual goal, to buy 2,300 gas-free buses running on either electricity or other zero-emission technology like hydrogen. Metro board members say health and jobs are at stake.
And I represent a lot of communities who are suffering because of asthma, because they live near the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles, and don't deserve to compromise their health so that we can also move goods and transportation.
So when we make investments in a future, in energy efficient buses, electric buses, what does that do? It creates jobs. It creates a stimulus program. We don't have to wait for Washington, D.C. to take action. We can begin doing it here.
But can we afford it? One electric bus costs $200,000 more than Metro's current ones running on compressed natural gas.
So the upfront cost might be higher, but over the long run, you're going to save between $170,000 to $250,000 per bus. So as we're thinking about Metro's long-term health, electric buses are really the way to go.
Saving fuel costs and possibly lives through cleaner air. In downtown LA, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
And though electric buses don't travel as far as gas-powered buses, that could change with battery storage and other technology constantly improving. Well, getting the boot has never looked so good for LA drivers. Anna Marcos takes a look at a pilot program that highlights the new Smart Boot system. But it does take a little work on your part.
Scofflaws, motorists with 5 or more parking tickets, get ready. The city has come up with a whole new way of giving you the boot. Sure, city parking enforcement officials quit using the old boot several years ago because it was too labor-intensive and the boots were heavy. But a new pilot program has released 300 new smart boots out on the streets.
They only have to touch the car one time, where the old boot required us to put it on, come back, take it off.
The reason parking officials only touch your car once is you take the boot off yourself.
The old boot that we had was a 30-pound boot. This is only a 16-pound boot. It's really easy to remove.
With this boot, it's all about the code, and the payment. Once you call the 800 number and make your payment plan, you put in the code they give you, and voila, it's that easy.
The motorist is then responsible for dropping the boot off. Otherwise, you'll get another ticket, another boot, and maybe a charge for theft. The new system could help put more money back into LA coffers since it's easier and quicker for scofflaws to pay up, and it's available 24/7.
The process takes about 5 to 10 minutes to call and pay, and you can actually use a mobile-friendly website or an app to take care of that. So it's very fast.
The one-year pilot program is now limited to a special scofflaw unit, but city workers hope to expand the program and get the smart boot into the hands of parking enforcement workers all over LA. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Cities like New York and Seattle are also experimenting with smart boot systems. Well, do you think girls can do anything boys can do? Well, this group of girls certainly do, as they geared up for a recent Los Angeles Fire Department girls training camp. Rasha Goel takes us there.
I like to help people, and the job is interesting.
Deja Scorza could be a future LAFD firefighter. She is among the 100 girls attending the 3rd annual LAFD Girls Camp. She's about to get a closer look into what being a firefighter entails.
And we want the next generation of girls who will become women, who will become firefighters, to kind of plant that seed.
We're very excited about this event, and in the past, it's been very successful.
This camp was held at Fire Station number 59 in West LA. The 2-day event gave young women a chance to put their skills to the test.
They work side by side with career firefighters that are already hired and have a job with a department, and they get to learn all about the duties and responsibilities of a firefighter. They learn about climbing ladders and pulling hose. They learn about, we get to teach them CPR and first aid.
And these girls are up for the challenge. It's a career some are already considering.
Just helping people every day, it seems just like a really good way to give back to the community and just like serve other people first before myself.
Helping others and jumping in without any fear, these young women are already preparing for success in whatever they decide to do. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Well, we've reported a lot about the city's computer giveaways to families in need. But here's a new strategy in that effort, reaching out to corporations for help. Thousands of new families could benefit. Gil Reyes has more from Pacoima. Gil.
Well, Yana, whether it's giving away old recycled City of Los Angeles office computers or donating all new ones with the help of corporate sponsors, the point is to deliver as much of the technology as possible to families that don't have it. Today, we're in the community of Pacoima.
Sophia Greer was like a lot of former foster children, with nowhere to live after becoming an adult.
Right out of foster care, I was homeless. I was living in a transitional program for AB 12, so it's like you live there till you're 21, and once you're 21, you move to their transitional program.
Greer was lucky. She found Section 8 low-income government housing here at Moonlight Vias Apartments in Pacoima. She's also expected to receive a free Chromebook laptop computer with affordable internet, as low as $18 a month, so she can job search, fill job applications, and so much more. Greer can thank the city and its partners.
So we have 3,000 Section 8 families who are eligible for this program, and then what we're intending to do is, through our nonprofit partner, Human IT, we're going to outreach to all those 3,000 households, give them assistance in locating available low-cost internet options.
The Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles is one partner, so is Frontier Communications. The company donates some 30 Chromebook laptops to moonlight via tenants in this new city collaboration to bridge the digital divide.
When you work for a government, you've got to be creative. You've got to leverage all the different resources out there. So it's not just taking taxpayer money, but it's getting contributions through public-private partnerships. Frontier stepped up in a big way.
Newly elected city council member Monica Rodriguez represents Pacoima and looks forward to even more computer giveaways as chair of the new Information Technology Committee.
You know, I think we're only limited by our imagination, and so I'm looking forward to making sure that we create the kind of collaboratives with our corporate partners to make sure that we fulfill all of the expectations and aspirations in the city of Los Angeles.
Excellent. Just want to tell you, Council.
Vanessa, write that down. We are only limited by our imagination. I will be using that next week. Be assured.
Council President Herb Wesson says he won't be satisfied until every person in the city who needs it has access to computers with Wi-Fi. In Pacoima, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Council President Wesson also leads another computer giveaway campaign, Our Cycle, which takes outdated city department office computers and repairs them for families in need. Well, here's one fun event you can do with the whole family. How about a little cardio down by the river? The Amazing Family Fitness Race is part of the mayor's initiative to encourage healthy communities and more activity on the river. Anna Marcos reports.
A family that dances together stays healthy together. That's the idea behind the Amazing Family Fitness Race, a part of the Summer Down by the LA River program, to get more families doing river activities and encourage them to huff and puff their way to health together.
If you can learn to have fun with fitness, then you can make it part of your lifestyle. And we live in an age where obesity is a big issue. And in the city of Los Angeles, we want to make a difference. We want to make healthier communities.
You know, introduces the family to fitness, and it's so much fun to do it as a family.
This fitness challenge has something for everyone. Besides the dance challenge, there is a cardio challenge, a playground challenge, and a strength endurance challenge with this froggy-type squat plank thing. Okay, so you may not conquer the froggy your first time around. It's okay. And if you get too worked up, just head over to the yoga challenge for a calming experience. Oh, but you have to do a plank and a side plank. Or how about just a nice and easy tree pose?
Well, yoga in general has a lot of purposes for focus, mind control, body control, breathing techniques, flexibility, and strength endurance.
There's prizes for the families who finish all the challenges first. Healthy prizes like softballs, frisbees, weights, and bungee cords. You get the idea. If you win, you've got to work out more.
I'm glad we won this race and we're done with it.
She only thinks they're done. Now they're going to have to use those softballs, frisbees, and weights they won. Let's hope the quality family time, the sweaty exercise, and fresh air did these bodies so good
and go
that they'll want to do it again and again and again. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
There were a total of 11 different fitness stations at the event. Over in Council District 9, the musical legacy of Central Avenue lives on, with hopes for an even brighter future along the Strip. Gil Reyes has more from the Central Avenue Jazz Festival.
The Central Avenue Jazz Festival harkens back to a time when sweet sounds emanated from every corner of the block, back when it was the epicenter of West Coast jazz from the 1920s to the 1960s.
My mother actually was a dancer in the Alabama, which was a nightclub in the Dunbar Hotel in 1935. There was the Alabama, on this side, there was the Last Word, there was the Mimo, all of these clubs where there was wonderful, wonderful music.
The sounds return for this once-a-year weekend festival, acts performing on 2 stages and at the historic Dunbar Hotel. Steve Isoardi has written several books about the Dunbar and the area's rich jazz history.
W.B. Du Bois stayed here, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Billie Holiday. This is a legendary place. And just to be back on the avenue, walking up and down, is a wonderful experience. And to hear music on the Avenue again is fabulous.
During its musical heyday, this area was known as Little Harlem. More than 40% of LA's African American population lived within blocks of Central Avenue. Today, the different cultures are evident in the festival's food choices, from soul food to barbecue to Mexican.
It just feels like a neighborhood. I've lived in Los Angeles for most of my life. Never been on the street before today.
I love it. It's
What do
great.
you like the most?
The atmosphere. People are really friendly, and the shopping is great. I got some great deals.
Central Avenue's council member Curran Price says he's focused on fostering new businesses, affordable housing, and of course, fun.
It's a chance to celebrate what's going on in our community and to really appreciate the importance of music. Jazz is an integral part not only of Central Avenue but of this country.
Still bringing people together after all these years. From the Central Avenue Jazz Festival, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Councilman Price says his 9th district also has the most potential housing projects in the city, around 500 units worth. He expects many of those units to open soon. Well, local leaders need your help in making LA a more age-friendly city. Nearly 15 acres of land located at Runyon Canyon is now officially protected from development, and a local health fair gets kids ready for school. All these stories in City Beat. As all of us get older, one group in particular will be seeing a dramatic rise in numbers in the LA region. The population of adults aged 65 and above will double between 2010 and 2030. To prepare our region for this dramatic demographic shift, the County and City of Los Angeles launched Purposeful Aging Los Angeles, an initiative that unites public and private resources, ideas, and strategies. The goal is to make LA more age-friendly, and you can help by filling out the PALA survey. Just go to purposefulagingla.com and click on Survey Toolkit. The City of Los Angeles Department of Recreation and Parks, along with Councilmember David Ryu and other groups, celebrated the acquisition of the 14.9-acre property located at 2450 Solar Drive in the Hollywood Hills area of Los Angeles, adjacent to Runyon Canyon Park. The acquisition, finalized in March, expands Runyon Canyon Park and permanently protects this parcel from development. Runyon Canyon Park is one of the most beloved parks in Los Angeles and draws nearly 2 million visitors per year. Metro art and radio station KCRW debuted Summer Nights at Union Station, a night filled with live music and entertainment. Folks enjoyed a variety of games, body art, DJs playing music, and of course, plenty of dancing, food, and socializing. The second and final summer night takes place Friday, August 25th. Just in time for school, the Arroyo Vista Family Health Center, with support from Councilmember Gil Cedillo, recently hosted a children's health fair in El Sereno. The fair offered free health screenings, childhood immunizations, school supplies, haircuts, and more.
It just shows the community that we care about their health, that we care about making sure that parents have resources.
Okay, kids, time to hit the books. As the school year opens throughout LA, some kids are getting a little academic boost with free backpack giveaways in the inner city's low-income areas. Ana Marcos has more.
Look at this crowd, wall-to-wall people and their kids lining up for a free back-to-school backpack and other goodies.
Okay, so she says she's been in line since 6 p.m. yesterday.
Wow, these people must really want a backpack. The backpacks are a gift from Spectrum Communications, and they're given out with help from local leaders.
This is an important event because it underscores the importance of education, underscores our commitment to it, and the encouragement we can give to young people to do their best.
We have about 800 backpacks, so we are going to be very close, but we are very excited.
There are hundreds of kids at this giveaway, which is happening at a place called Home, an after-school haven for low-income kids, which helps them with everything from homework to the arts to college preparation.
I've been here for 7 years, and I come every day of the week.
We do a lot of things for the community, gives a lot of opportunities,
Like we have music opportunities, art opportunities.
The backpacks come with all the educational goodies you could want. Notebooks, pencils, even headphones. Out at Exposition Park, another back-to-school giveaway. So get out those protractors and notebooks. School is back on. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Spectrum Communications, by the way, was also offering a cheap internet service for low-income families at the event. Well, don't let summer pass you by without seeing an outdoor movie. Enjoy a picnic and live theater at a local park, or unwind and relax as you stroll along the peaceful paths of the Japanese garden. All this in this week's Things to Do. Before summer ends, don't miss your chance to enjoy an outdoor movie. So bring a picnic, blanket, and the whole family to a movie night under the stars, featuring the 2016 version of Disney's The Jungle Book. The screening takes place Saturday, August 26th at 7:30 p.m. at the Victory Vineland Rec Center, located in North Hollywood. Join the fun and entertainment while supporting Tree People's Coldwater Park in the woods and under the stars. Enjoy an eclectic mix of comedy, theater, and music. Pack a picnic dinner and your family for nights of laughs and music by Tree People and the Actors Conservatory Ensemble. Nestled in the rolling hills of Coldwater Canyon Park, this fundraising series showcases acts for the whole family hosted at the Mark Taper Foundation Amphitheater. All the entertainment takes place until September 23rd. For more information, go to treepeople.org/Canyon Nights. In the middle of busy San Fernando Valley lies an oasis, a 6.5-acre garden which features 3 gardens and includes a dry Zen meditation garden. Features include a tortoise island, a 3 Buddha arrangement of stones, and a wisteria arbor across a plover path. Next along the path is an expansive, wet strolling garden with waterfalls, lakes, and streams, abundant greenery, and stone lanterns, which were hand-carved by artists in Japan. The garden is located at the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant. The garden's purpose was to demonstrate a positive use of reclaimed water. So come take a stroll, relax, and unwind. It's located at 6100 Woodley Avenue in Van Nuys. For more, visit thejapanesegarden.com. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Not it. Again? Hey, Dad. Dad.
There are other ways of saving money and energy around your house. Did you know that LADWP is now offering cash rebates for you to retrofit your home to be more energy and water efficient? It's good for California, and it's good for Dad. Let's make California a better place to live, starting with our homes. To get your rebates, go to www.ladwp.com/save.
Not it.
Don't worry, Patty. This isn't going to hurt me one bit. Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Shapiro in beautiful Encino, and you're watching LA City View, Channel 35. Our city, our channel. Open wide.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Today is Friday, August 25th. I want to welcome you to your Los Angeles City Council meeting. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Public is welcome. Madam Clerk, we have a quorum. Would you please call the roll?
Blumenfield, Bonin, Buscaino, Cedillo, Englander, Harris Dawson, Weezer, Koretz, Krikoran, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Okay, Ms. Martinez moves. Mr. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Weezer moves and Mr. Englander seconds. Continue, please.
There is a request to continue several items, 1A and 17B for 30 days to September 20th, and item 2 to Wednesday, October 4th.
Okay, so without objection, that will be the order. Continue.
Additionally, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that items 17A and 17C be received and filed as the liens have been paid in full.
Without objection. Continue.
Item 1 is an item noticed for public hearing.
Do you have cards?
Yes, there are cards.
Then continue. Or what about item 2?
Item 2 has been continued.
All right. Continue.
Items 3 through 10 are items for which public hearings have been held.
Specials members? I do not see any. Why don't we prepare to vote on these items? Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
All right, continue.
Items 11 through 16 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
So without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, there are cards on all items, and item 15 is requested to be held for a substitute motion.
All right, then we shall do that. Continue.
And on the continuation agenda, items 17, A through C, are items noticed for public hearing.
Cards?
Yes, there are cards.
That brings us where?
Mr. President, that takes council back to presentations or items called special.
Again, thank you very much. Mr. Englander, for, I think, a special announcement. Mr. Herman, don't start. It's your first warning of the day.
Yes.
Go on, Mr. Englander.
Thank you very much, colleagues. You know, we often get the opportunity, as we all do, and we have extensive internship programs, and we bring our interns in when they've completed their mission. And it's rare, though. It's rare where we get a diamond in the rough that really steps up and works so well with so many and does so much. And today we have one of those very leaders amongst us, Miranda Schwartz. So thank you for everything you've been doing all summer with our office. You've become an extension of our family. The staff absolutely adores and loves you. She is going on, she's almost perfect. Almost perfect. Except she's going to UCLA. We'll give her a pass. But she's studying ethnomusicology with an emphasis on bass performance. That was almost going to be my second career. She assisted with our E12 program, and she helped, and y'all know, one of the greatest programs in this city, Making Movies That Matter. And she stepped up to help that as well, and really just got it done. And she's been incredible. And so I want to thank you for all your inspiration, your enthusiasm. She felt right at home. In fact, she felt so at home in our office that often and most of the time she would work barefoot. I don't know why, but I would come into the office, her shoes would be off, her feet would be up on the desk, and she'd be pounding away on the computer. Very comfortable in the office. And she's welcome back anytime, and we wish you the very best. I would also like to give a special shout out to her parents who are here today, Lisa and Todd. Come on up here. Take a picture in the chair.
You mean the two photographers in the back?
The two photographers, sergeants,
the
let them
two
up here.
professional photographers.
Now, and Grandma back there, Marcia.
Sergeants, bring them up. Bring them up. Let's give them a round of applause.
Come on. Stand right here. Take a picture. Come on. Stand up right here. No, you got to take a picture from there. Come on. No. Oh yeah, you guys stand right there. Right there. This is perfect. Okay, come on around. So, you know what's cool about this? It's really cool. I'm going to let you in on something else. Her uncle, who is a surgeon in Missouri, was a guy that helped me to become who I am today. When we were 15 years old, he and I started some companies together, installing car alarms and doing all kinds of stuff. And we saved our money together at 15 years old. So when we turned 18, we could move out. And we did. Got our own place together. They called us the old married couple. And we were best men in each other's weddings. And I grew up in their house. And you all know my story of when we lost our house, this family took me in. Many nights sleeping on their couch. Marcia and her late husband, Mike, were like parents to me. We didn't have food at home, a lot. And their cabinets, their refrigerator, their kitchen was always open. And I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for this family. And so what's so cool is to have Miranda, who wasn't even a thought back then, to come full circle and have the opportunity to work with my staff and see the young lady and the woman that she's become is really special to me. And so I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be part of your family. So thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. We're going to go and take some photos. I forgot. I had the certificate too. So of course I'll present
It's
that in the
okay.
back.
Everybody forgets every now and again.
That's right. Thank you.
All right,
Thank
let's
you,
give them
Colin.
one more round of applause, and we wish you all the best. Mr. Walsh, why don't you put Mr. Walsh up on the screen real quick? John Walsh. Come on forward, Mr. Walsh, 1B, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16A. And then 17A, and then public comment. Let him through.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Usually I begin by saying, fire Devan Maharaj. Well, the LA Times did what I asked them to do. Thank you, LA Times. And let's go into these issues. Again, building and safety, nuisance abatement. You do an excellent job on abating nuisances for renters. I've been here since 66, and you're doing an excellent job. I'm not one of those white guys who say, you're all a bunch of crooks, let's put white people in here. No, the minorities are doing a better job than the white people, and you can quote me on that. Number 2, right-of-way surrounding Island Lot D. Whenever you're a big developer, if you need right-of-way, you go to your councilman and put money in his pocket legally through his fund. Okay, and next, number 11. You never have any argument. You never have any arguments with me about what to speak on. This is the vacation process. That's all that means is they're taking property away from somebody and giving it to a developer. That's what vacation process means. Number 12. This is exemptions. Exemption means you got some lead ass who doesn't have the qualifications for the job, so you create an exemption and give the piece of shit a job. You do that all the time. Number 13, this is Lanny for various public improvements. Lanny, all they do is suck whatever councilman's cock is when they get on their knees.
Get on the subject, Mr. Walsh.
Well, I'm sorry about the First Amendment. You spent a lot of money trying to win that federal case, and you were unsuccessful.
Just stay on the subject, that's all.
14, Hollywood sign during the Labor Day weekend. The people up there are treated like shit who live up near the Hollywood sign, because every scumbag in America comes and throws up and vomits and urinates on the Hollywood sign. They shouldn't be doing that. Okay, we need additional enforcement. I'm telling you right now, it's out of control up there. Don't go up there. Number 15 is right of entry permit.
give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Walsh.
You know, when I said there was a haunted house at Hollywood and Vine, people said, he's really flipped out. There is a haunted house at Hollywood and Vine, an expensive haunted house. And that hideous demon that sits there guarding it on the porch looks an awful lot like Supervisor Sheila Kuehl without her makeup. Check it out. And I'm telling you right now that, what we're talking about here is we're going to get rid of the LA Times. You don't know whose cock to suck at the LA Times because they have a temporary cock in there. And poor David Sennheiser. He was such a good cocksucker to Devan Maharaj. And now all that cum he swallowed is for nothing.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Huizar, are you ready for your presentation? If so, sir, the floor is yours. And while he's making his way, let's vote on item 1. Okay, members, on item 1, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Huizar.
You want to come on up too? Thank you, Mr. President. And colleagues, today we are celebrating the 77th anniversary of the Nisei Week Japanese Festival. It occurs in Little Tokyo and runs through this Sunday. And it is truly one of Los Angeles' most treasured events each and every year. It is rich in culture, in history, and it's a unique way to experience Little Tokyo and Japanese culture. My wife and I and 2 of my kids were in the parade this past Sunday, and it was just beautiful to see so many people come out from throughout the city and the region and from different backgrounds and ethnicities to celebrate this wonderful tradition that we've had in the city of LA for over 77 years. And first, I'd like to welcome those who are here with the Nisei Week Foundation. I want to thank board member Alan Ota, as well as the Nisei Week Foundation, for all their efforts and the hours they put into making sure this is one of the most treasured events here in the city of Los Angeles. Their nonprofit work aims to showcase the traditions and culture of the Japanese community through arts and cultural education. All members of the foundation are volunteers and are committed to their heritage and enriching the lives of those people around them. It's amazing that
Mr. Huizar, stop. Mr. Herman, please don't disturb the presentation. Just stay in your seat. No, in fact, the second warning, if you do it again, I'm going to ask you to leave. I'm so sorry, Mr. Huizar. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's amazing that this festival started in Little Tokyo way back in 1934, and it is still here today, one of the longest-running ethnic festivals in the entire United States. And it's great to see that the footprint of this great community called Little Tokyo continues in its place. Although there's a lot of demand around it for continued growth, the character and traditions of Little Tokyo remain. And that's what's great about the city of Los Angeles, is that we preserve and support and appreciate our many different communities that have made Los Angeles what it is today. There's a lot of exciting things happening in Little Tokyo as well. Recently, through the help of this council, we adopted the city's new Civic Center master plan. And back when the Parker Center and other city buildings were built around that time, it turned it back to Little Tokyo. But thankfully now, as we rebuild our Civic Center in the near future, we will open it up with some nice, beautiful green space to Little Tokyo. Because in fact, in the old times, Little Tokyo came up right to City Hall, and it was our neighbor across the street. And we're glad that we're going to revisit that history and make Little Tokyo part of the Civic Center once again. We also recently broke ground on the Terasaki Budokan project, which is being developed by the Little Tokyo Service Center. My office, thank you to the help of this council, have supported the project with funds, as well as making sure the city extended several times to act so that the project could continue to move forward. Budokan is a long-standing dream project that is going to bring a sports facility and cultural community space that really solidifies Japanese culture and the presence in Little Tokyo. This project not only signifies the importance of bringing more public amenities to Little Tokyo, but also the struggle it's had for many, many years to regain its presence here in the community. All this to say, I know I speak for all my colleagues when I say the city of Los Angeles holds Little Tokyo and the generations of Japanese Americans who built up that community in very high reverence. Nisei Week gives us the opportunity to thank the Little Tokyo community for being so special and such an important part of the cultural fabric of our great city. So thank you all. Now I would like to introduce this year's Nisei Week president, Mr. Leighton Hashimoto, to say a few words. Welcome, Mr.
Let's
Hashimoto.
give him a round of applause. Welcome. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
you.
Good to see you.
Good morning, President Wesson Jr., members of the council. On behalf of the Nisei Week Foundation, I would like to thank all of you for your support of the Nisei Week Festival. We had our coronation last week, Saturday, where the lovely 2017 Queen and Court were crowned. We had our grand parade on Sunday. This weekend, if you're available, if you'd like to watch the World Championship Gyoza Eating Contest, that will be on Saturday, where the record is 384 gyoza in 10 minutes. You're not going to want to eat gyoza after that, but Sunday we have our closing ceremonies, and we hope to see you all there. But on behalf of the foundation, again, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hashimoto. And finally, I would like to introduce the 2017 Nisei Week Queen, Miss Jordan Adachi. Let's congratulate her as she introduces the rest of the court. Congratulations, Miss Adachi.
Welcome.
Good morning. I just want to again thank Councilman Huizar as well as President Weston for having us here today, and thank you so much for your support. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the rest of the court. First Princess, we have Yurika Yoneda, Ms. Tomodachi Kelly Seta, Princess Jordan Terukina, Princess Tomio Kuno, Princess Clary Mata, and Princess Caitlin Hara. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, on behalf of the city, I would like to introduce this resolution to the Nisei Week Foundation and thanking you for your continued work on behalf of the Little Tokyo community, the Japanese community here in the city of Los Angeles. You guys are all doing a great job, wonderful job in continuing the traditions and history of the Japanese community here in the city of Los Angeles. And congratulations to the court. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and thank you so much for your service.
It's a weapon, too. This is the official one. So this is the one that matters for us. This goes in the history books. Thank you. So we're going to go in the back to take some photos. They will lead you back here. Just follow.
As Mr. Huizar is leaving, I'd like to recognize Mr. Mitch O'Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, today we are recognizing a young champion, a young athletic champion by the name of Anthony Sanchez. Anthony, step forward. So, Anthony is a champion handball player who recently won a tournament, an annual tournament, over in Glassell Park. The handball courts over in Glassell Park were installed in 2002. Recently, we identified some revenue, and last year we renovated the handball courts so more people could enjoy them. I am so honored to recognize this young man, the winner of the 2017 U.S. Handball Association's National Junior Three-Wall Championships.
All right. Congratulations.
Anthony has been playing handball for 2 years, coached by Eric Anderson and assistant coach Patrick Sato. He's always exhibited a strong, unfaltering dedication to the sport of handball. His unique ability, and I think he's on display right up there at the tournament, his unique ability to anticipate the reaction of the ball will carry him far into the future competitions of the sport. In fact, anticipating reactions of any kind will carry you pretty far into the future. That ability led Anthony to the U.S. Handball Three-Wall National Championship tournament at Venice Beach. After suffering disappointment in the boys 13 and under big ball final, Anthony Sanchez edged Luis Fernandez in an exciting 13 and under small ball final. And these are the scores: 18-21, 21-13, and 11-3. This would not be possible without the guidance of his coach, Eric Anderson, who's unable to be here today, but he helped Anthony with a strong, fundamental understanding of the outdoor handball game. I'd like assistant coach Patrick Sato to say a few words.
Please come forward, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Anthony's always exhibited a very strong aptitude scholastically as well as physically, and I just wanted to express my appreciation for just being an excellent pupil. Thank you.
You're a good coach. Just give a coach a round of applause.
Now, I'd like to acknowledge the following. Mike Kogan, a longtime friend of mine and an activist over in Echo Park, and handball is his adopted sport, and he's a real enthusiast. He's unable to be here tonight, but he is the first coach and winner of 2 national titles at Irving Middle School in Glassell Park himself. Lacers program director Monica Cobian and CEO Will Seymour are here, right here, along with, and Principal Kurt Roscom was unable to be here, but they've all, oh, he is here. Oh, there he is. My gosh, I was looking right at you. So the principal is here. Thank you so much, Principal Roscom. They've all been integral in establishing on-site tournaments for the youths. And if you haven't been to a tournament, stop by if you get a chance, because they're packed. There's broad support for this. The sport is growing, and it's a great, great sport. Most importantly, with the discipline of his mother, Diana Larenas, Anthony has maintained a 3.5 grade point average.
Now that's worth a round of applause.
And his grandmother, Teresa Larenas, has always made sure he attended all of his off-site tournaments along with some strong words of wisdom. Ms. Larenas, there she is. Yes. We thank them all. It's a support system for their commitment to all the youths past and present in these special and needed after-school programs. Therefore, colleagues, I'd like to recognize Anthony Sanchez, national champion, through his example of commitment, dedication, and hard work. Angelinos across the city are inspired to reach for their personal best because of the examples that young people like you set. Best wishes on continued growth and success on all of your endeavors.
Congratulations, champ.
Here we go. All for you. Come on here. Let's put this down. There you go. Let's get Principal Roscom and everyone step forward. Next time, Anthony will say a few words, but not this time.
Well, anyway, again, congratulations. I'll hear it. Come on, Anthony.
Thank
or
you.
champ.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's give him another round of applause. You're welcome. Let's put Mr. Herman up on the queue. Okay, Mr. Herman, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16A, 17A, and 17C, and then your general public comment.
Well, let's go back to our entitlements on the liens. After all, it is a human way. Thank you, Mr. Page, St. John, in regards to item on liens. For example, simple lien of what? $3,136 in CD6? Fuck you. And what about in CD14? Jose Huizar, located at what? 6262 East Templo Way?
Mr. President, item 1 has already been voted on.
It's on the liens, ma'am.
No, but we've already voted on item 1, Mr. Herman. You did not have a card in on it.
Oh, okay. Let me get back on topic again. After all, it's only $5 million. Item number, for items not yet heard on topic, John Walsh is right. Always right. HollywoodHighland.org. Regarding CD8, communication from the engineer. You know, got to stay on topic on matters, because if you're off topic...
Just stay on topic. We're not talking about the topic. Just stay on the item topic.
So let us not fucking reminisce on the fucking relative initiating fucking vacations for proceedings for fucking Vermont Avenue. That's how you want to hear it? Fucking A. Fucking communication from the economic workforce. Fuck the workforce, because there's still homeless people living in the goddamn street. Then I go to item 13. Wesson and Price. Relative to extending the fucking term of a contract with the fucking Los Angeles Neighborhood Initiative called Lonnie for various fucking public improvements, which none of you and all of you will agree with me, we haven't seen. Look at our goddamn fucking streets. Those are improvements. People like me, Andrew Holland, walking the streets. Andrew Holland, regarding various public improvements in Council District 10. Well, where is the asshole who represents District 10? Because I want to personally thank the asshole for all the eye visions of eyesores that I see. A clown like me, see? But no, I haven't seen an improvement in CD10 because the asshole was working in CD7 at the time. That's why the LA Times writer back there, Rookie, is still trying to write a story about CD10 and CD7, how to make improvements. I'll wave back my last 6 seconds, and I want general fucking public comment time now.
Give him his 1 minute for general public comment.
A pre-litigation settlement for the parents of Ms. Sharon and Mr. Carty in San Luis Obispo County regarding LA Times page St. John. And this is what the woman had to say. People were walking by him and not helping him. How could they treat my son as though he weren't even human? No, he suffered from schizophrenia, bipolar like Jose Huizar, and like Peppa Pig right there, PTSD, fat pig. But look what happens. Holland asked, I began to feel so sorry for them. All those fucking sheriffs, all those fucking custodies of people with mental health. For them, yes, they were less human than he was. All of fucking you. Fuck California and fuck your constitutional rights.
Thank you, Mr. Herman. Thank you. Okay, with that said, Madam City Attorney, we're going to close the multiple comment section of today's agenda. So let's continue. Item 11 for 30 days, which will bring us to September 20th. And Madam Clerk, let's vote on items 12, 13, 14, 16, and 17. If you would please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Now let's vote on item 15. It's my understanding, Madam Clerk, that's a 2-vote item, correct?
That is correct.
So let's take the first vote. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
Now let's actually move this forward. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
15 ayes.
All right. Let's go to general public comment. Emiliano Martinez, Rob Kwan, Chrissy Castro, and Stephen, please come forward, please. Go ahead. Good to see you.
Good morning, council members. We're here just to let you know that we're really looking forward to the vote on Wednesday to the motion to have Indigenous Peoples Day be on the second Monday of October. That's what, as a community member, we're here concerned about that. We want to make sure that that it goes forward. It's once again a step in historical justice for Native peoples throughout this Western Hemisphere, that we start recognizing the second Monday of October as Indigenous Peoples Day. So I hope we have every council member's support on that, especially you, Mr. Cedillo. We really hope that you could back us up on that. You know, I know we're brothers and we're relatives in that way, that we're native to this land, so we need your help on that one. We need your vote on that. And I'm asking you specifically to please help us out on that and show historical justice. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please come. Chrissy.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Chrissy Castro. I'm the Vice Chair of the LA City County Native American Commission. I'm here to appeal to you that you vote next Wednesday to abolish Columbus Day and to establish Indigenous Peoples Day on the second Monday of October. I understand that there's some question about why the second Monday of October, and there are too many points to get through in 1 minute, but I'm going to tell you the overarching points. One is that our communities have been fighting against this mythical holiday of Columbus since its inception. We've been celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day at least since the 1970s, so we're not going to move the day that we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. Furthermore, over 60 cities and counties and states throughout the country have decided that they're going to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day on the second Monday of October. So I am appealing to the City Council to be bold and courageous and to stand with justice to right the historical wrong that this holiday brings up for our children and communities. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. If I get the next speaker, and I'm looking for Madeline Merritt, Lydia Ponce, Carrie, and Stephanie Mashburn, or Stephanie, and then Cheyenne. Yes.
Hi, Rob Kwan. I'm here to speak on replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. Very concerned because one of our council members wrote a letter suggesting that we celebrate the hundreds of years of immigration to America because it is the immigrant that represents America's ideals in the purest form. Who is left out there? Our indigenous populations, exactly what we're talking about. Who is left out there? The people who came to this country in chains, bound by slavery. This is not an inclusive holiday. It's not something to celebrate. This isn't a monument, a Confederate monument that exists passively. People face it. In reality, Christopher Columbus, and this is no understatement, is the godfather of slavery, the godfather of genocide in this country. He wrote home about the need for 9 to 10-year-old women, indigenous women, to bring back. This is a clever rebranding. If we look at the Confederate flag today, some people look at that and say it's about states' rights,
Thank you, Ra. Thank
heritage,
you.
and
Thank
culture.
Thank you. Next speaker. Next speaker, please come forward. Identify yourself.
Hello, Madeline Merritt speaking. Thank you for hearing me today. As an Angelino, longtime Angelino, and advocate on behalf of Indigenous rights, I want to tell you about my experience at Standing Rock, where I saw our country face down peaceful Indigenous people in prayer with tanks and guns. Now, we have a long way to go as a people to repair these wounds that are ongoing. And my experience there taught me that we need to bring that home and start to make repairs here at home so that our people as a country can come together and right the wrongs that our nation was based upon. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for seeing me as an ally of the Indigenous standing before you today as an Angelino and asking for your support in repairing the ancient wrongs that have been done upon my friends and my family here behind me. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Lydia Ponce, thank you. Good morning. We had a wonderful rally last Sunday where hate came to Venice, and we stood there unified. You talk about intersectionality, definitely representing what we're about, the City of Angels. This particular agenda item next week, the vote, is a restorative justice and restorative to all people involved, because it seems that John Trudell's quote that our history is being erased, and it's to not remind them of the crimes they committed against us as Native people, as indigenous, and that statement is true for all around the world. So what a better way than to vote in favor of replacing Christopher Columbus Day, the second Monday. We celebrate it as Indigenous Peoples Day. We always have, we always will. But with your support, you will be sending a message to all the haters and to all the people who believe that this was and is their country and their land. We actually are of the land, and we want to share the space. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Please identify yourself.
Hangamaheshi. Hello, my name is Stephanie Mushrush. I'm a member of the Washoe Tribe of Nevada and California, and I'm also a Native mental health provider, a licensed clinical social worker here working in the Native community spanning the county here. So I'm here to talk about why replacing Columbus Day on the second Monday of October with Indigenous Peoples Day is very important. Working here in the Native community and seeing the effects of such racist aggression, such as observing Columbus Day, has an effect on our people psychologically. The American Psychological Association has shown research and data that has a correlation between that and negative self-esteem, the increased rate of suicide within our Native youth. And Indigenous Day, if we replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, it will serve as an antidote to this negative occurrence that happens once a year. It's something that I see with my clients. Thank you.
So I'm looking for Stephen, Carrie, Cheyenne, and Rosalio. Yes.
Dagote, she Carrie Sage Curly Gonze, she Kaitet Siden. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you for your time, for listening to our voices and our hearts as we speak about this. I'm from Arizona, and the state of Arizona has abolished Columbus Day and has uplifted Indigenous Day. And I ask you, the Council of Los Angeles, to listen to these brothers and sisters up here speaking from their heart. I know each of you, come from a strong line of grandmas and grandpas, who lived that simple life, that strong life where little things meant so much more to them. And I want you guys to simply understand that we just come here with our voices and our prayers and our hearts to put inside you the seed to change this day, abolish Columbus Day and uphold the indigenous peoples. When that day came for me in my heart, I was on my backyard in St. Carlos. Shema came home and told me that. I'm not big on social media, but she came home and told me that. And she gave me a hug, and that hug meant so much to me, that connection that we had together to celebrate together, to pray together, and to sing. So, Ahia, do what's right. Thank you.
What was your name?
Carrie Curley.
Okay. Next. Please come identify yourself.
Yate Anashoe. Hello, my name is Cheyenne Phoenix. I'm speaking on behalf of the Indigenous and Native communities here in Los Angeles. I wanted to express that everyone here benefits from Indigenous people as we are on the Tongva people's land, occupied Tongva people's land, and we also benefit from the Paiute people by taking their water from the Owens Valley Paiute Valley. And I wanted to talk about why it's important for Indigenous Peoples Day. It's more of an obligation to the next generation and our youth who are looking at us, your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren to come, that they're looking at us and they're looking at you as leaders of our community, of the city, to make the right history, to do what's right, and to show them, to empower them and empower our Indigenous youth, because we're only so small of a percentage left here in the United States, and we want them to continue to be doing good things and to be doing good things for their people. So I wanted to invite you, to an event in October
Next
to
speaker,
learn.
though, I can only give you 1 minute. Everybody gets a minute. Next speaker. And thank you for coming, though.
Yeah, I
Identify
wanna-
yourself.
I want to emphasize today in your deliberations on the reports up for next week, a particular book called Vineyards and Vaqueros, Indian Labor and Economic Expansion of Southern California, 1771 to 1877 by George Harwood Phillips. And here he documents how it's called Vineyards and Vaqueros, cowboys and people working in the vineyards, that they were the main workforce in establishing that industry, which was the basic industry in Los Angeles. It also documents how building the infrastructure of the city, the water systems, the churches, all of these things. And there were settlers that came in, but the main workforce that started it and sustained it for decades through the arrival of the United States, where even the genocide even got worse. But we should consider that here in L.A.
And your name again, sir?
My name is Rosalio Munoz.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, that concludes general public comment. That brings us where, Madam Clerk?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
Okay, they're posted and referred. I'd like to recognize Mr. Cedillo. Mr. Herman, come on. Mr. Cedillo. Did Mr. Cedillo, it was my understanding for an introduction.
Mr. President, my apologies. I didn't hear you. But this is a good morning to welcome the mayor of the city of Ensenada, which is to our south. Colleagues, I want to acknowledge in our chamber today the dignitaries from the Mexican state of Baja California, the mayor of Ensenada, Marco Novelo. Marco, levántese, por favor.
Welcome, Mayor. Welcome.
A native of Ensenada, Alcalde Novelo has been a champion for tourism in that region. It is one of the more emerging areas in terms of the culinary arts. They have the Valle de Guadalupe, which is competitive with us, like our Napa and Sonoma. And the culinary arts are just, much like the city, are exploding down in Baja. He took office 9 months ago, but has been long-established ties here in Southern California. A graduate of another great school in Los Angeles, not the one in Westwood, but the one here in downtown USC. He coordinates the Sister City program with our neighbors in Riverside. And as Angelinos, we have great appreciation for his roots here in Southern California in the city of Los Angeles. Let me also add something that I've been saying for quite a while.
Before you do that, let's give him a round of applause.
Yes.
Welcome to the great city. Welcome. Welcome.
Let me acknowledge the rest of his delegation. He is joined by Rene Orozco, Chief of Staff. Rene. Jared Gutierrez, International Affairs, Asuntos Internacionales. Faraón Saravia, Public Services Deputy Director. And Rafael Núñez, Director of Business Affairs. Mr. Huizar, most appropriately for today, Oscar Kawanishi, Japanese Mexican, from Southern California, moved down to the South during another challenging time of our nation with respect to its relationship to various ethnic groups in our country. So, bienvenido. What I want to say to you is what I said last night, colleagues, that during this Trump era, it is more important for us today than before to make sure that we focus on our relationships with Mexico. That the discussion of a wall is a distraction, that it's mere political rhetoric and folly, and the fact of the matter is our discussion should be focused on building bridges. And so at this point, and more so than ever, all the relationships that we have with Mexico should be strengthened. The sister city relationships we have with the various cities, the institutional relationships that exist between our universities and our colleges should be strengthened. As you know, I took a recent trip to the state of Durango and to the place of my father's family, Tahualilo. The familial relationships should be strengthened because for the moment we are in crisis in Washington. We are in lack of leadership. This is a critical time. There is a fear of raids and deportations that's permeating this city, destabilizing this city. Reports of domestic abuse and violence against women have dropped significantly, but the LAPD tells us not because they believe that that activity has dropped, but because people are not reporting that crime. People have been taken from courthouses in this county, and a man was arrested in my district as he took his daughter to school. So these are difficult times for immigrants who live here in California and the United States. And for us, we should engage in the activity that's taking place here today. An exchange of culture, a respect of our common history, a respect of our common bonds and values, but most importantly, a respect of our common future. Because this too will pass, and we will look back to this time as a time where, in spite of the void of leadership in Washington, that we, this great city of Los Angeles, continued to build our relationships with Mexico, with its great cities, and with its great people. Finally, I want to note to you that there is a circumstance that is taking place that is challenging for all of us. In this country, in the 1930s, 2.5 million people were kicked out of this country. It was a depression, it was a difficult time politically, and many Americans were sent to Mexico. They were not Mexicans. They were of Mexican descent, but they were not Mexicans. And they were sent to Mexico, and it was disruptive to their life and their generation. People like the well-known educator Sal Castro lived through that experience. Today, in Mexico, there are 600,000 young boys and girls who have gone to Mexico because their parents have been deported. Many of them are not in school. Many of them do not have their transcripts transferred. Many of them do not speak the language. They are Americans of Mexican descent living in a country that they do not know. And so this is why this visit, Señor Alcalde, is so important, because we must continue at every opportunity to build relationships, strengthen our bonds, to ensure that when we come out of this dark era, that we will be stronger and better because of it and in spite of it. So we thank you for your presence. We welcome you to the great city of Los Angeles. Está en su casa, as we like to say, here in the great chambers of the Los Angeles City Council. Thank you, colleagues, for your consideration.
Okay, let's give them another round of applause. And bienvenidos. Okay, that brings us where, Madam Clerk?
The desk is clear.
Announcements, members, announcements. If all would please rise for adjourning motions. All would please rise. Mr. Bonin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two adjourning motions today. One is for a young man from Venice, a man of many nicknames. His name was Liam Taylor. He was known as Alex, he was known as Skinny, and he was known as Red. He was born in Venice, was part of the surfing crew in Venice, and was recently spending a lot of time with members of his family up in Northern California. He passed away August 18 at 19 years of age in a surprising surfing incident. The waves were not all that high. He was a very serious surfer. It's a bit of a freak accident. He passed away just last week. He was, I've met him once or twice before. His parents, his mom is a constituent. Really gregarious kid, tall. He was 6'2", 140 pounds, hence the name Skinny. He also had a shock of long red hair, hence the name Red, and a huge smile. And he was really well known in the surfing community in Venice and in Northern California. In Northern California, he was active with the North Coast Rescue Team, and so he tried to actually save other people from incidents in the water. There's going to be a traditional paddle out by the Venice Pier where surfers paddle out for a memorial service in the water tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. He's survived by many, 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 many friends in the surfing community. His father, Pat Taylor, and his stepmother, Marjorie Weitzman, who are longtime leaders in the Venice canals, and by his mom, Shelley Trigas, and his stepdad, Brad Crampton, up north. May he rest in peace. Also want to adjourn in memory today, and I suspect Mr. O'Farrell will want to join me in this one, for J.D. DeSalvatore, the noted LGBT film and television producer and gay rights activist. She passed away yesterday after a battle with cancer. Her film credits included a great small independent movie called Shelter, which was the story of a young gay surfer raising his nephew in San Pedro. It's a 2007 film, and I have never seen San Pedro look as beautiful on film. It's a story of a couple young men and his family, but San Pedro is a character in this film, and it's a really very well done film. She also was director of Eating Out 2, which is a particularly raunchy but popular gay comedy, A Marine Story, Gay Propaganda, and Elena Undone. She was honored in 2009 at the Gay and Lesbian Center's An Evening with Women with Lace Award for her work in the community. She was featured in Go Magazine's 100 Women We Love. She also won a GLAAD Media Award for Shelter. In addition to producing all those LGBT films, she also wrote extensively about LGBT film for outlets including Clout, Curve, GayWire.com, PlanetOut.com, Gay.com, QT Magazine, and others. She was a festival manager at Outfest, which I believe is the largest film festival in Los Angeles. And she produced and was on panels for Outfest and for the Writers Guild of America. She was also on the board of directors of the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce and served a term as vice president, and was on the president of the board of directors of the Frontiers Foundation and worked with the Point Foundation. She was really, I knew her both in film circles and in LGBT circles, and she was a wonderful woman. She was a real force. She was a tiny woman with a pure white hair and usually black horn-rimmed glasses, very distinctive, a great artist and a great leader in the LGBT community, and she'll be really missed.
Thank you. Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I ask that we adjourn today's meeting in honor of Joe Martisich, Dr. Joe, who passed away yesterday, Thursday, August 24th. Dr. Joe had an illustrious medical career. Early on, he was a lieutenant in the United States Public Health Service and was a surgeon for over 40 years. He is survived by his loving wife of 65 years, 11 months, Marie Martisich, and children Nicholas Martisich, Marianne Reyes, and Deanne Savornich, who's the wife of former 15th Council member Rudy Savornich. Also survived by his 4 grandchildren, Joe and Matt Martisich, and Gregory and Danielle Savornich, and many nieces and nephews. In addition to his loving family, Dr. Joe was also a beloved member of the Dalmatian American Club in San Pedro. He served the club as a board member, secretary, and treasurer for the club for over 20 years. A memorial service celebrating Dr. Joe's life will be held in the coming weeks. Our hearts go out to his family and friends. May he rest in peace. And secondly, if I may, earlier this week, colleagues, a tragedy struck one of our sister cities, Ischia in Italy. Magnitude 4.4 earthquake killed 2 women and left over 40 people injured. The quake hit this past Monday at about 9 p.m. and caused significant damage to the area around the towns of Casamicciola and Lacco Ameno, where some buildings crumbled and roofs collapsed. More than 2,500 people were reported to be homeless or displaced, and about 1,500 have fled the island. Rescue workers searched the rubble for survivors through the entire night. In a dramatic rescue, you may have seen this, caught on video, firefighters pulled a family from a rubble of a 2-story home. A 7-month-old, an 8-year-old, and 11-year-old were all saved as they were excavated by one. Thanks to emergency response teams and medical professionals for their many nights of losing sleep to save this family and others who were injured by the quake. Unfortunately, one woman died in her home in her town of Casa Michola, where another was hit by debris falling from a church. So the earthquake came 2 days before the first anniversary of the earthquake in central Italy, which 300 people died. Our hearts go out to everyone who was impacted by the earthquake. I've been in constant communication with Carmela Funicello, who's on the ground there, visiting her family, as she does every summer. Also in constant communication with the Consul General Antonio Verde, asking how we can be of any help in working with our Sister Cities Foundation. So please keep Ischia in your thoughts and prayers during this time of mourning and healing. Thank you.
And if you'd please keep us apprised, Mr. Buscaino.
Yes,
Mr. Cedillo.
Yes, I wanted to bring this to the attention of the council. Last week we lost a really great, very popular Angelino, Tommy the Hawk Hawkins. Tommy Hawkins was a Laker, VP for the Dodgers, an incredible personality, an incredible voice in this city. Very classy man, very big jazz enthusiast. Tommy Hawkins was born in Chicago, but was singled out as a basketball star and was Notre Dame's first African-American basketball star. He played a major role there at Notre Dame and was a first-round draft pick of the then Minneapolis Lakers, and followed the team and came with the team here to Los Angeles. Spent 2 years with the Cincinnati Royals, and then back to the Lakers, where he finishes a 10-year career. But all of us know him and his voice on radio and television, and his time with the Dodgers. He played a major role in this city after the social unrest in the mid-'60s, in calming the city and bringing the city together. And he passed last week and will be missed. He's a real gentleman.
Yes,
if you got to meet him, he treated you like you were one of his best friends, and he hadn't seen you in a while.
Yes, he was. Now I'm going to look to my right, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to adjourn in memory of one of my favorite music artists when I was growing up, country and pop music legend Glenn Campbell. He was a Grammy-winning singer and guitarist, remembered for songs like Rhinestone Cowboy, Gentle on My Mind, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, Wichita Lineman, and many others. He was born in 1936 to poverty-stricken parents, Wesley and Carrie Dell, who picked cotton on a farm. He was one of 12 siblings. And he moved to Los Angeles in the 1950s, where before he became famous, he was quite notable. He began to write songs and record demos and became a sought-after session guitarist, playing for Elvis Presley, Merle Haggard, the Beach Boys, Nat King Cole, Frank Sinatra, and the Monkees, among others. He played guitar on the famous Beach Boys' Pet Sounds album and toured with the band after Brian Wilson had a breakdown. He also became part of Phil Spector's famous The Wrecking Crew, which was his session band that played on many of the world's biggest hits at LA's Gold Star Studios and helped create the producer's legendary Wall of Sound. Campbell's biggest accomplishments and fame began when he released his first major hit in 1967, By the Time I Get to Phoenix, written by Jimmy Webb, followed by a series of other hits. And in 1968, he won several Grammys in both the country and pop categories. He had the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour after that, which began as a summer replacement for the famous Smothers Brothers show and featured Steve Martin and Rob Reiner, among others, as writers. He engaged in comedy skits when he wasn't performing with many of his friends on the show, like the Monkees, Neil Diamond, Linda Ronstadt, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, and Waylon Jennings. And perhaps most notably, In his final years, he struggled with Alzheimer's, and he went very public with that and his struggles with the disease. He did a documentary about it. He released 2 albums during this period that he produced and released. He did 150 concerts during the period where he had Alzheimer's, and he said it removed most of the clutter from his head, but he was still able to remember most of his music. It was quite a remarkable end to a great career. And I'd like to remember a bit of one of his lyrics to send him on his way. On the road to my horizon, I'm going to be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy riding out on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo. And so that was his life and career. He was survived by his wife, Kim Campbell of Nashville, Tennessee, their 3 children, Cal, Shannon, and Ashley, and his children from previous marriages, Debbie, Kelly, Travis, Kane, and Dylan, and many grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren, and he will be greatly missed by many.
Thank you, Mr. Kretz. He was a good man. I had the chance to meet him at Ray Charles's funeral. He was something else. Any more adjourning motions? Mr. O'Farrell?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I ask that we adjourn today's meeting in memory of Alejandro La Pietra. For 2 years, Alex, as he was affectionately known, was president of operations for 2 of this nation's longest-running and most successful nightclubs, Circus Disco and Arena Cafe. Alex was also the first Latino elected into the Central Hollywood Neighborhood Council, which he served for 8 years. Alex was a well-known philanthropist, founding the very first HIV/AIDS clinic in Tijuana and supporting many other worthwhile charities. He was an accomplished musician and a well-known mariachi singer who performed often at the nightclubs to the delight of his many fans. Last New Year's Eve, he sang "I Did It My Way" to a sold-out crowd at the closing of Circus and Arena that are now being redeveloped into a housing complex. Never were words more true. Alex La Pietra passed away peacefully from cancer at the very young age of 46 and complications from pneumonia, surrounded by family and loved ones. Alex is survived by his husband, Eugene La Pietra, his sons, Asa Herrera and Alwyn La Pietra, as well as a large extended family and a community that will miss him dearly. May Alex La Pietra rest in peace.
Thank you, Mr. O'Farrell. Again, I'm still looking to my right. Any other? Mr. Koretz?
Be added to that previous one. For
So to
Mr.
the
La
clerk's
Pietra.
office, Mr. So
Me as well.
now, just so everybody know, we are on every adjourning motion. So does that mean you want to sign it? So that's a different request. So clerk's office, we could come up with a 4 or 5 signature, and if you'd have those members have their names. Okay, any other adjourning motions? Members, this meeting's adjourned.